In less than 4 months, a new 911 dispatch facility will be up and running in Clark County. It's been in the works for years, and officials say that system is going to improve response times, make the job safer for law enforcement. Mamie Ba is live now from the Clark County Sheriff's Office after speaking with officials there. So, Mamie, how does that dispatch system operate now?
Right now, the county runs the dispatch system, but right now they are in two separate locations, one right behind me at the Clark County Sheriff's Office. Now, in January of 2021, City of Springfield dispatchers became Clark County employees. So the dispatch system became one, and it's all to better the transition. So when they both start working under one roof, under this new system and this new facility.
So maybe how will that center and new technology change things?
Well, I'm told that this will really help with response time and increase the volume of calls. Now, the county tells me this will cost the system, the new facility, costs anywhere between $5 to $6 million, and the county took out a bond to pay for it.
This is for the community as much as it is for the officers, because when people need help, we need to make sure that we have the systems, we have the people, we have the personnel, we have the training set and ready to go.
And right now, the biggest thing is that data cannot be shared, and sometimes officers or anyone out in the field can't really get that information that quickly depending on where it is. Now, coming up at 6:30, we'll really look into response, the new way you will be able to communicate with 911. Back to you.
Maybe thanks. A live look now at I-70 at Route 4 in Enid now from our ODOT cameras. The roads are clear, moving freely now, but it was a very different story this morning. This is a look at the Ohio State Highway Patrol. They tell us there was not one, not two, but 5 separate crashes at or near the Enid Road overpass. Now, the highway was closed for about 5 hours, causing chaos for the morning commute. Now, this got complicated quickly, so stick with me here as we break it all down. So first, in the westbound lanes, a pickup truck crashed into the wall, resting on the shoulder. Then a box truck hit that pickup truck. A semi jackknifed to avoid both the pickup and the box trucks and struck a guardrail. Then in the eastbound lanes, a semi-tractor double trailer combination hit a tanker truck, and the trailers then overturned. Diesel fuel from the semi spilled about 100 gallons of fuel. And finally, a different semi jackknifed to try to avoid those trucks. Thankfully, only minor injuries reported in all of those crashes. A Greene County judge has set the bond of a Yellow Springs doctor accused of sexually abusing patients at $1 million. Donald Gronbach will also have to have GPS and home monitoring and will be under house arrest. He won't be allowed within 100 feet of any roadway and won't be allowed work release. Live look now from our Kettering House Skycam. It was another very, very cold day, and the winds, Natalie, those winds were brutal.
Yeah, making it feel even colder than it already is. It is chilly out here on our weather patio. Current temperature is hanging out in the 30s for us. So we're at 30 in Dayton. We are below freezing. So still watch out for some slick spots. 29 in Troy. We have 31 our current temperature in Sydney, 27 in Bellefontaine. But with the wind, this is what it feels like. It feels like 19 in Dayton, feels like 17 in Springfield. So grab the coat, the hat, the gloves, anything to keep yourself nice and warm through this evening. We'll stay on the chilly side. And then also looking at the potential for some light snow by early into the morning, because believe it or not, even colder air is going to be sliding its way in. I'm going to talk about how cool we're going to get coming up in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks. Ohio Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown asking for something to be done about postal worker and mailbox robberies. If you remember back in September, 2 postal workers in Montgomery County, they were robbed within minutes of each other. And in Kettering, police say a group stole mail from a Kettering drop box. Senator Brown says these robberies are costing Ohioans millions in stolen checks and goods, and the Postmaster General needs to do more.
I just want the Postal Service to be run better. I want to stop the mail theft. I still get letters from Ohioans who have lost valuable things in the mail. And that's always going to happen occasionally, but it's happened way too often because he upended and changed the way that we do postal policing.
Now here's some of the advice from the Postal Inspection Service. Go inside the post office to mail your letters. Drop mail before the last collection of the day. Don't deposit mail on Sundays or holidays. Now a live look inside the U.S. Capitol building now, where House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced she will not seek re-election to her position in leadership.
I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress. For me, the hours come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect.
This ends 2 decades of her leadership. She was first elected in 1987 and became the House's first female speaker in 2007. Pelosi said she'll continue on as a member of the House, serving her district in California. Current House Minority Leader, Republican Kevin McCarthy, poised to become House Speaker. Remember, yesterday it was projected that the Republican Party will control the House. Democrats already control the Senate, so this divided Congress will essentially give the GOP a veto on President Biden's agenda. The first ever standalone marijuana bill has officially passed both the House and Senate. This paves the way for scientists to research medical marijuana and protects doctors deciding whether to prescribe it to patients. And now heads to the president's desk, marking a new era in federal cannabis policy. Right now, marijuana falls under the same drug category as heroin, so it's hard to research because it's considered to have no medical benefit. But new research suggests it could treat certain medical conditions. Also notable from the House of Representatives today, the Speak Out Act passed there, making it one step closer to becoming law. That makes non-disclosure agreements unenforceable during sexual harassment and assault cases. More than 1/3 of the workforce has been binded by signing an NDA for reasons like protecting proprietary information. But it also silences victims of workplace abuse. The Speak Out Act only applies to NDAs signed before the harassment happened. Despite widespread support, not everyone was in favor, most Republican lawmakers voting against it. It now heads to President Biden's desk. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the missile that hit Poland was not from his country. A missile hit a Polish town near the Ukrainian border Tuesday, killing 2 people. Russia has denied any involvement. Poland's president and NATO leaders say they believe it was a Ukrainian air defense missile and that it was not meant to hit Poland. U.S. leaders, including President Biden, say it's, quote, unlikely that Russia fired the missile, while Zelensky says he has no doubt in what his Air Defense Command is reporting.
I don't doubt that it wasn't our missile. I don't have a reason to doubt them. I'm going through this war with them.
What's your reaction to President Zelensky saying that the missiles that landed in Poland were not Ukrainian?
That's not the evidence.
Zelensky says Ukraine should be part of any ongoing international investigations. Live look in Moraine now, where the Montgomery County Township Association hosting its 2022 holiday celebrations and awards gala. The MCTA is made up of 9 townships in Montgomery County, and once a year they all come together at this event to network, learn about what's been going on, and support the community as a whole. Plus, 7 township employees have just been honored as Employees of the Year. My co-anchor Megan O'Rourke is there now emceeing that event, and Dayton 24/7 Now, a very proud sponsor. Big congrats to all the honorees. Well, U.S. aid to Ukraine could surpass $100 billion if President Biden gets his way after the break where all that money is going. And the Dayton City Commission approving a contract that will mean improvements for Triangle Park, the changes that are on the way.
And I'm tracking even colder air as well as a few snow showers that's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
These are called light pillars, and they were captured by Team Tanner Aurora and weather chasers in Alberta, Canada. They are rare and occur when winds are calm and tiny ice crystals are suspended several feet above the ground. Any light within these areas, such as streetlights, will reflect off the crystals, creating the beams of light you see on your screen.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
Republicans are vowing to take a hard look at the tens of billions of dollars the U.S. has already sent to Ukraine in their fight against Russia. And President Biden is asking Congress for $38 billion more. Republicans say they want accountability.
This is one of my huge problems with what we've done with the Ukraine aid, is that it's been a blank check to them, where we're literally writing them checks to their treasury with no controls on how they can spend it.
Now, the U.S. has sent more than $100 billion in military, humanitarian, and government aid just this year alone. That's larger than every single country's annual military budget, excluding the U.S. and China. So coming up at 6:30 over on Fox 45, a closer look at what Republicans say needs to happen as U.S. debt ticks up. All right, so let's talk weather now. It has been cutting cold with that wind. It feels like it goes right through you outside. It's going to get colder before it gets warmer, though, it sounds like.
That's exactly right. Another cold front moving through, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So if you do like the cold, got some good news for you. We actually do have some pretty chilly weather in the forecast, but we do have a warm up on the way as well. I'm going to talk about that. But for right now, cloudy skies on our satellite and radar. We've seen a few flurries around, but for the most part, it's been a pretty quiet day. Not as much activity as what we saw yesterday with some of those snow showers. Bigger picture here, we have a cold front just off to our west. You could actually see a line of some snow showers developing ahead of it, and we'll continue to monitor this, pushing its way in as we head through the overnight hours and really early tomorrow. So late into the evening, we're talking 20s and 30s, upper 20s as you wake up into the morning, and then we'll also be tracking a few snow showers around. We'll continue with some light snow showers for the late morning hours, and then notice our temperatures really don't budge much. We're going to be struggling to get above freezing as we head into our day tomorrow, and wind chills are going to be even colder than that. Check out our Saturday morning. We're going to wake up to temperatures in the teens and then staying in the 30s again. I'll have the warm up in the forecast coming up.
Natalie, thanks. Gabby Petito's family has been awarded $3 million in their wrongful death lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's estate. And Petito's family attorney says $3 million is an arbitrary number, and any money they get is going to go to the Gabby Petito Foundation, which supports victims of domestic violence and organizations that look for missing persons. The 22-year-old was reported missing after a cross-country road trip with her fiancé. Her body was found in a Wyoming national forest. The coroner determined her cause of death was strangulation. Laundrie's body was then later found in a Florida nature reserve near his home. A medical examiner ruled his death by suicide. Authorities found a notebook near his body where he claimed responsibility for Petito's death. Well, a break today in a decades-long cold case. UC student Cheryl Thompson went missing in 1978. Her body was found weeks later. She'd been strangled and beaten. Courtney Wheaton reports prosecutors say they solved it, but full justice is not possible.
Today, during a press conference, Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieter says they found the man who raped and killed a then 19-year-old Cheryl Thompson more than 40 years ago.
A grand jury has posthumously indicted Ralph Howell in Thompson's rape and murder.
Law enforcement never forgot about her and her family and what they had to endure.
Prosecutors believe Howell was a serial murderer who committed 3 other rapes and killings within the same period.
There's no doubt in our mind that Ralph Howell was a serial killer.
In March of 1978, 19-year-old Cheryl Thompson was enjoying her freshman year at UC when she disappeared during spring break. She left to meet her boyfriend at a local club but never arrived. Her then 16-year-old brother reported her missing the next day. 2 weeks later, a game warden found her body in an embankment on East Kemper Road in Loveland. She'd been raped and strangled. Prosecutors say her rape kit has been saved through the years, and police recently submitted evidence to a national DNA database. They use Ancestry DNA to track down family members of Howell to help identify him. Police dug up his grave and used his jaw to make the match.
I did talk to Cheryl's brother on the phone, who says he is relieved to get this news after more than 40 years. In Cincinnati, Courtney Wheaton.
The acting police chief on the day of the Robb Elementary School shooting has resigned from the Uvalde, Texas police force. Lieutenant Mariano Pargas' resignation comes ahead of a rare meeting called this Saturday by the city to decide his fate. His resignation is effective immediately. He's been on administrative leave since July. Remember, that gunman was inside a classroom for 77 minutes while hundreds of law enforcement officers were inside and outside that school. A recent report showed that Pargas knew students were alive and needed rescue, but failed to organize help. And the Uvalde School District now has a new interim police chief. Jose Gutierrez's first meeting was spent appealing to the room, offering his condolences and vowing to do more for the families of the victims and the rest of the district. The board voted unanimously to approve him. Gutierrez has worked with the interim superintendent of the school district, Gary Patterson, has a long list of credentials, met with community advocates who have a good feeling about him.
He looks tough.
Do you think he can do the job?
If he's manly enough.
The background, work ethic, experience, I feel that he is going to be able to fulfill the duties. So it's just a matter of time before we can see the outcome.
Well, some good news tonight if you're in the market for a home. Mortgage rates have dropped. This comes after a series of economic reports that indicate inflation may finally be easing up. The 30-year fixed rate averaged 6.6% last past week. That's down from 7.8% the week before. Now, Freddie Mac says that's the largest weekly drop since 1981. A year ago, the fixed rate was just 3.1%. Despite more promising numbers, the Fed has said it does not expect to back off from raising rates until inflation gets closer to the desired target of 2%. A story now from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal. Tonight, a Kettering chicken restaurant is growing to 2 new locations in Dayton and Englewood. Now, Chicken Heads currently has a ghost kitchen facility on Dorothy Lane. The fast casual kitchen specializes in premium, chef-crafted fried chicken sandwiches. The Dayton location will open as the restaurant's flagship store in the spring of next year. The Englewood store will be open by the end of January. And we have more information if you'd like to read more about this at our website. You can find this story and others like it. Just look under the Dayton Business Journal heading in the News tab. Well, Dayton Park set to undergo improvements over the next few months. This week, the City Commission approving a notable investment to help those improvements take place. Matt Digby shares it from Triangle Park.
Significant improvements coming to Triangle Park. It's part of a $500,000 investment that's part of the Dayton Recovery Plan. One city official says the changes that will be coming in the very near future, replacement of structures, and another way to improve the park for guests.
And really just making this a good amenity for Dayton residents and visitors to be able to come into our city and use that park. I mean, as you looked at it today, it's a very nice open park, very nice green space. So we're just trying to provide, again, some more equity in that park. For people to come there and use that park and have cookouts, family reunions, or whatever you want to do.
It's another way the city is improving Triangle Park, an area that is already rich in history. Of course, it was the site of the first NFL game, and now park goers have more to look forward to in the future. At Triangle Park, I'm Matt Digby.
Black Friday is the unofficial start to the holiday shopping season, of course, but many people are already filling up their carts online. And that flood of orders and deliveries is enticing to thieves. So the U.S. Postal Service has some tips to avoid theft, like putting it in a blue box before the last collection, only dropping it off or picking up inside the post office or asking for a signature drop-off. But the Butler County Sheriff's Office says your best defense is a doorbell camera, which could get you digital evidence that you need. The first Postal Service shipping deadline for the holidays is 1 month from today. We'll get ready to look up to the skies. The Leonid meteor shower expected to peak tonight and tomorrow morning. Astronomers say you might also get a peak Friday night and Saturday morning. It's the fastest meteor shower striking the Earth's atmosphere at 158,000 miles per hour. The meteors are just the size of tiny peas, sand-sized bits of dust and debris crumbling off a comet as it swings by Earth. You can see the meteor shower anywhere on Earth except Antarctica.
Kind of feeling like Antarctica out there right now. We got wind chills in the teens. We have 19 in Dayton, 19 in Troy. 20 is what it feels like in Sydney. So let's talk about what our wind chills are going to do through the rest of the evening. Really feeling like the teens overnight and through the day tomorrow. Teens pretty much all day long. We have colder air moving in. Could see some stronger gusts up to about 20-25 miles per hour. Keeping the chill around. Waking up Saturday morning, we're talking the potential for some single-digit wind chills. So feeling even colder on Saturday, and by Saturday afternoon, not quite as breezy, so the wind chill's not quite as bad. And we do gradually warm up. Check out Tuesday, back up to 50 degrees, which will be a nice change from the chilly weather we've had recently.
Natalie, thanks. Well, opening night for a local tradition is coming up very quickly. Still ahead, what you and your family can experience if you head out to Woodland Lights this weekend.
And it's time for your TikTok of the day. Have you ever heard of Virga? So let's learn what it's all about.
Have you ever seen clouds that look like these? Or have you ever seen rain on radar but nothing actually reaching the ground? Well, those are both examples of Virga. Virga happens when it starts raining, but there's a layer of dry air at the surface, so the rain starts to evaporate before it even reaches the ground. So these streaks that you see right here is actually precipitation. Could be rainfall or snowfall that's just evaporating before it hits.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
A Miami Valley tradition is back once again. Nathan Edwards shows us how you can enjoy Woodland Lights this weekend.
I'm really starting to feel festive here in Washington Township. You can see the Christmas lights are up for Woodland Lights, and it begins this Friday. and runs Friday through Sunday here in Washington Township. And this is a family favorite. You can come down here. They got snacks, they got Santa, they got, all sorts of fun activities for the kiddos. And it's super cheap to do so, $9 a person. And then also kids 2 and under are free. So all you gotta do is come down here, help them celebrate 30 years of this family-friendly event here in Washington Township. So should be a great time to come on out this weekend. And then starting in December, they're gonna be expanding to an extra night of the week. So plenty of time to get into the holiday spirit and enjoy these beautiful Christmas lights.
Nathan, thanks. And if you stop by Woodland Lights this weekend, you can join us for the Holiday Help Out Food Drive. With rising food costs, many of our neighbors are struggling to put food on the table. We want to make sure no one goes hungry during the season of giving. And you can help needy families in the Miami Valley by dropping off non-perishable food items Friday through Sunday.
And if you wanted to do any decorating over these next couple of days, not as bad for the weekend. Tomorrow, probably just a no-go overall. We're going to have some gusts out there that will make it feel like the teens pretty much all day long. A few snow showers around, so just outdoor decorating, not the best. But Saturday and Sunday looking pretty good. We're going to see temperatures in the mid-30s, so it is going to be cold, but we have sunshine in the forecast, something we haven't seen a whole lot of for this week. So here's a look at what we're tracking for our extended forecast. Flurries for our Friday, few light snow showers, especially first half of the day. Mid-30s this weekend, and then we do start to see temperatures climb back in the 50s and 40s as we do head into next week, which, believe it or not, we do have Thanksgiving in the picture for us, which is looking very fall-like. Temperatures will be close to normal. Could start to see some rain chances sneak their way back into the picture by late next week as well. But looking pretty good overall, a little better by next week.
I was going to say, so we got like about a week of a preview of what winter is to come.
And that's usually how it works, just a little preview and then warming up a bit.
I'm glad we actually got back to normal again. That'll be good.
Right.
Natalie, thanks for being with us tonight. Remember, you can always connect with us on social media. We are headed over to Fox 45 next. We hope you join us there. Good night.